But if you really want to make an image of something, you need to get an experience. You need to absorb it somehow. You can't put out the image if you haven't got information in your mind. So first absorb. Now let's take a landscape as an example. The age-old way of doing that is to imagine one. Just imagine a landscape. It could be flat, it could be hilly, it could be mountainous, whatever you like. Or you can look at pictures. Now they inspire and help all of us, and there are numerous pictures, magazines, reference books, whatever you like. Or you could watch the TV. Well, you obviously do that because you're watching this, or a video like this one is. You can travel all over the world through video and TV today, so that way you can see all sorts of landscapes that you're never actually going to be able to get to. Or ideally you can do what I'm doing, and you can come out into a landscape, a real one like this here, and feel the place. And that's how to get an experience of it. So here I am in my landscape, sitting here, or standing here, or walking here, or just standing here in this magnificent array of foxgloves. So let's go get on with some stuff. Most encaustic learning is done on this A6 size card, postcard size, because the iron easily fits over the card. But we're now going to move up to a bigger picture, and we're going to use A5. Now for this you just need to make sure you get plenty of workspace. This is the card I'm going to paint onto. And I'm going to make a landscape, not quite like this one, but similar ideas. Landscape across the top here, and then I'm going to put the mountains down here. So let's get started on that. I'm going to turn it this way round because I want the sky to come down here, and it's easier to put the iron down this way than it is to work across yourself like that. So turn the card. Remember to have checked that you've cleaned your iron. Now the iron has got all that dirt on it, so just put a bit of clear wax on, take a piece of tissue and wipe it off, and you'll see all that green there that was hidden on the surface of the iron, all that dirt comes off. Now for a sky, you start off with white wax, and you really need to put quite a lot of wax onto the iron. Don't be shy of putting it on. And then the lighter colours, I'm going to use a bit of pink, a bit of yellow, and a bit of blue. Not too much though, lighter blue there. And then wipe it down onto your card for your sky. Now the first thing you can see is that I've run out down here. A lot of people say, oh, what shall I do now? Well, just do the same thing that you've just done. Take the wax, load it onto the iron again. Plenty of wax. This is a nice liquid effect, a sky. So we've got a yellow, pink, and a light blue. And then just dollop it on there and iron over. Now although you've got this big mark in the middle, don't worry about that. Because what we're going to do now is to simply float the iron all the way back over it. Gently float it back over, and the wax really melts. You can do that as often as you like, very, very lightly. And if you want to get a more textured effect, just speed up a bit like this. And then you get more textured effects, sort of cloud light effects. Now you can see the colour looks very pale because it's a sky, it's light. We're trying to create light here. And I've got nice light here and nice light here. And I'll probably make this part the centre of my picture, because if you choose a good centre of light, then you'll have a nice bright picture which is welcoming to the viewer. So now I've cleaned the wax off the iron, and I'm going to do some mountains here. And I'm going to put them on as sort of peaky mountains. So I'm going to start with white, a little bit of pink, and a little bit of blue. Let that mix around a bit. Can you see how liquid that wax is on there? It's really dribbling around. And now I'm going to touch this edge here down onto the card and use it a bit like a knife or a bulldozer, pushing across, making jagged movements as I go. So start here, touched it down now. I'm making my first mountain peak. Now going down, you can see the mountain peak just flowing out there, and the wax is flowing off the bottom of the iron. I'm just going to change the camera angle, so hold on a minute, freeze, okay, I've moved the camera, so let's start again. So now you can see the edge of this iron moving along, and the wax is dribbling down. It's dribbling down off of the plate, down onto the card, right off the end there. because I stopped, I got this mark here. I stopped to fiddle with the camera. I got that mark there. But I can change that, and I'm going to just put a bit of green on. Load the iron a bit with green, and I'm just going to use the tip here to dabble it into this foreground area. So just dabble it in lightly, don't be too fussy about it. Something like this. And then just end up smoothing as though you were doing a regular little landscape, working down. And suddenly we've got trees in there. The next thing I'm going to do is to put some detailing along here, and that's done by using the iron and squishing it down. Now, you've probably seen this before, but I'll show you as best I can on this camera. You just squish the iron and the card together like this and pull them apart. And then you can see on the bottom of the iron, perhaps you can't, but you can see here for sure, the effect that you get when you put the iron down and lift it. Let me do a bit more for you. Like this, down and lift. And my fingers are down here behind, just touching through to the iron. You won't burn yourself as long as you're nice and fast, to create that type of effect. You can see it there now. Next, I want to put some water in along here. And the way to do that is to turn the card round. Do you remember how we did the sky? So load the iron up, same colours as with the sky. I've got my white, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of pink, and I'm putting them on in bands here, a little bit of blue. A nice narrow little band there, and then just wipe it down, keeping parallel to the edge of the card. And I'm dragging the point along the line that I'm leaving, and this should make a nice water reflection. Like that. Now time for a bit of foreground, so I'm going to use green, maybe a bit of brown, and a bit of the darker blue and the darker red violet. Put all them on, and then just dab them into the area I want them to be. I'm trying to leave some of the water and hide some of it. Dabbing carefully with the iron, using my fingers behind to get the effect. And you can see how the layers and the depth are building up. Pale sky, slightly darker mountains, darker sort of woodland, hilly stuff, and then I did that bit of dabbing on the far side of the water, then put the water in to reflect the sky colour to bring the distance into the close area, and finally nice strong sort of framing at the bottom to hold all that water back into the picture. I haven't actually been showing you, but I've been cleaning the iron in between each stage of this. It's important to keep your iron clean. Now I'm going to put some grasses and stuff in here to have some foreground detail, because when you have something vertical crossing all these horizontal lines, it makes it markedly look in front. And to do that, because although the wax is cool now, the iron's still hot, so just iron up through the wax and you'll drag some of the colour with you, like this, to get on our grasses. If you haven't got enough, get a block of wax like the one I've got here on the corner and just run the edge of the iron through that, so there's wax on the edge of the iron there now, and then put that on and you get stronger marks. So if I want stronger colour, especially down the bottoms here, then I can add some extra in. Let's do a few here as well, make them a bit smaller. And I'm just working the strokes backwards and forwards as I go to create the depth. Foreground, middle ground, distance, far away. So to finish it off, I'm just going to put in my favourite little dragonflies and some flowers, I guess. I'm going to keep them very simple here, so just dip in the stylus tip, make a spot on the card and flick 1, 2 from the spot out, turn the card a bit and flick 1, 2. Let's have another one further down, smaller one maybe. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then find the colour you're going to make. I'm going to use blue because it'll be nice and strong here. Just in front of the wings and flick back through. And then on this one, another little twist in it. Now the colours that I'm going to use for the foreground flowers are going to be colours in the picture already, so mostly I'm just going to use pink. Take the stylus into the pink like this, and then just dot it. You can be quite clumsy because it's very easy to be too careful and then they look like chicken pox. And if you take a slightly darker colour, I don't know if you can see this one properly, but it's the red-violet colour, and just add a bit of that in, again it just brings them to the front of the picture and makes them heavier and darker. And I think we're going to call this the final piece. Well, I thought I'd finished, but I just noticed this little piece of mess here, so I'm just going to scrape that off with the scribing tool and then polish the piece all together. Just take a tissue pad, hold the card and gently polish backwards and forwards until you get a nice sheen on the whole thing. You can see it there now. So that's the first step to a bigger picture.